UFC 279 and the main event has been cancelled. It's all incredibly interesting and probably the messiest card I've ever seen in pro UFC history. How are you feeling about it all, Mark? Are you excited for the card more or are you a bit disappointed?
Overall, I'm more excited, to be honest. I think this change-up has been really good. I know it wasn't intentional, but even today, throughout the day, I was having a look, from early morning, like what the actual changes, what's going to happen. Because even at the press conference, when there was a big brawl backstage and everything, from there right up until now, it's been a mess.
Yeah, it really has. It's been an incredibly messy card. But just for those who don't know, I'm sure you do. But anyway, Hamzat Chimaev missed weight roughly by about £8. So the main event's been cancelled, and that's been replaced with Nate Diaz and Tony Ferguson. Kevin Holland is now fighting Hamzat Chimaev, and Li Jingliang is fighting Daniel Rodriguez. And like you said, it's really exciting with these fights. I think they're more interesting than before. That this main event is a million times better than Hamzat versus Nate Diaz. Mm-hmm. How are you feeling about that main event? Do you think it's going to be more interesting? Do you think it's going to be a war?
100%. I think it's going to be more of a war. I think it's somewhat of a legacy fight as well, because they're both legends. I know they both kind of need a win, and if this is Nate's last fight in the UFC, there's worse fights to go out on than Tony Ferguson, because they're both legends of the game, both veterans, you know what I mean, and they're both well established. I think it's going to be an all-out war. There's going to be plenty of blood, probably plenty of drool as well by them too. I just think it's going to be a really great card. It doesn't matter that they're on losing streaks themselves, because it's just who the people are. That's what draws it in. Wouldn't be surprised if we aren't the only ones that are more excited for this shake-up than, the original plan.
Yeah, definitely. I think the matchmaking is much better here because, like you said, they're both on losing streaks. They're similar sort of sizes and weights. They're at a similar skill level. And that's the kind of matches that I prefer to see. But talking about fighters not on the same skill level, there's Kevin Holland versus Hamzat Chimaev. And let's talk about Hamzat Chimaev missing weight altogether. So there is rumors that he was eating the night before. He's like eating pizza and like soda and things like that. And that was reported before he even made the weigh in the day before. So it was already, so it's not like someone's gone, oh, well, I heard he was doing this last night. It was reported first that he was doing that. And then he missed weight. And it's a difficult situation because it's hard to know whether to dislike Hamzat more for this or not, because the doctor advised him to stop cutting weight. So the doctors come in the middle of the night and said, look, I think it was at 4 a.m, they said, and he had loads of cramps and he was really struggling to make the weight. But if you've been eating pizza and pop the night before, I think that's going to make a weight cut much, much more difficult. So it seems like he's got no one else but himself to blame, and the crowd booed the hell out of him at the ceremonial weigh-in. How do you feel about Hamzat? Do you think it's acceptable for him to miss weight so much, or do you think it's just disgusting, or something else?
Well, to be honest, because way back when Charles Oliveira missed weight, I agreed with the decision to strip him of the lightweight belt because he's not a lightweight. I don't care about if it's only half a pound. Where does that stop? And I believe the same with this as well. Mistakes can happen. I'm sure that cutting weight is hard. I've never had to do it. I can't lose weight, Dwayne. But like in the sense of, you get that everything's hard, but at the same time, the fans, you've been talking, I'm going to smash this guy, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. No, you're not, mate. You're going in the weight above because you can't make this weight anymore. Like every single time this has happened, the fans are disgusted because they're expecting a certain fight. It's happened with Charles Oliveira, Paulo Costa, even Nick Diaz. You remember that last year sort of thing? That was a middleweight, wasn't it? And this is no exception. The fans, especially the people who, I'm presuming that most of the people who are going to the weigh-ins are going to the actual event as well. They've gone expecting to see a certain fight. And when that's changed last minute because someone, for one reason or another, hasn't made the weight, they've got every right to be angry, to be honest with you. You're allowed to
Yeah.
moan, especially if they paid that much for a ticket.
Yeah, and yeah, it's not just that, is it? It's buying tickets. Have you pre-bought the pay-per-view? And then that's all changed. You think, oh well, actually, I wanted to see Hamzat versus Nate Diaz, and now I've missed out on that fight. Should I get a refund? You know, it's a difficult situation, isn't it? And you know, it's the lack of professionalism, isn't it? You know, that's I get it. You know, we come to watch these two blokes batter each other, but it is a profession. It's a sport, and they need to treat it as such. You know, and sort of all the stuff going backstage and him not making weight. It's just a mess and it shouldn't happen. But luckily, Dana White's come in like a swingers party. He's put all the keys in. They've gone with different partners and it's worked out much, much better. And I'm a lot happier with the card overall. Though I do feel sorry for Li Jingliang because he was coming in and, I don't know if you've seen all the memes. Everyone's talking about, he didn't get to wear his suit for the press conference and show it off and all that kind of stuff. But it's funny, but at the same time, it's serious. Like he gets to come out. Apparently, he's been taking a lot of English classes. He's going to get to have a press conference with Tony Ferguson, one of the biggest names in the UFC, and build his name and his legacy, and maybe get a fantastic win off it. And now that's sort of been squandered because of Hamzat. You think that's a real shame for him, because he could go out and lose this fight to Daniel Rodriguez, and that's really sets him back. What do you think about that, Mark?
Well, honestly, I think it, like I said, the fans have every right to be angry. But imagine being Leach or any one of the people who's got the fights mixed up. Because exactly like you said before, Kevin Holland, he's been training for, Rodriguez. And now he's coming with a wrestler. And he even said in an interview with Megan O'Leary, didn't he? He says, my family are concerned because they know I can't wrestle. So you've been doing this training camp thinking you're training for a certain person. And then because someone likes pizza and, McDonald's and stuff like that, you've now got to
about
change
me or Hamzat?
It was more of a self-analysis, mate.
But yeah, it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, you just swap it all around and you're like, you've been training for a certain fight. You're expecting a certain style. And then when it all just gets flipped on its head, less than 48 hours before you're supposed to actually go in the cage with this person, the only... I wouldn't even say it's a benefit, but the only sort of comforting thing is that everyone's had the fight changed. It's not just like one person. So they're all six of them are all in the same boat.
Yeah, 100%. They're all at now a disadvantage. Maybe apart from Hamzat, because he's not had a difficult weight cut. That's the only thing, isn't it? And that, he's at somewhat of an advantage here. But we'll talk about the fights in our next video. So make sure you check our predictions. That'll be down below. I do think that's all we've got time for. Thank you for watching. If you can like, comment, and subscribe, it really does help us out.